Hello and welcome to Sim Broadcasts. The Layout Racing League 2021 kicks off today at Broker Hill on a custom layout in Live for Speed. I'm joined in the commentary box by Eoin Harmon. Good evening, Eoin.
Good evening, Pete, and welcome along to a new series, something that is fresh to me, so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen.
Yes, today we are broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube, so you have a choice. And this is going to be an exciting one. We have a packed season of racing in Live for Speed in what has been a very successful couple of seasons that have happened in the past in the Layout Racing League, sanctioned by New Dimension Racing. Let's have a look at the calendar. We have 8 rounds this season. The first is today at Broker Hill in the GTi Class. Then we move to the LX4 at Scourns Racetrack over in West Hill. Then the Fox at Port Town, UF1 at Mini Monaco. That's a favourite with the drivers in LRL. Then GT3 at Midtown, TBO at Woodland Raceway, GTi at Hong Kong E-Prix Circuit, and the FBM at the Lamau Ring on 7th of August 2021. Every single round of the Layout Racing League 2021 will be streamed live here on Twitch on Saturday afternoons. We hope you can join us for the season. Eoin, do you want to talk us through a little bit about this interesting track that we have here today?
Of course, it's Broker Hill, based around the car park of West Hill. The Sector 1 begins with a long right-hander, and then there'll be more right-handers to greet you in Sector 1. Then the Sector 2 begins with another very, very daunting right-hand apex before you cross over on the big bridge, and then the braking zone takes place on the concrete, so you have to be very, very careful there. Then you have a few more tight sections, and then the flowing final corner brings you to the end of the lap.
Yeah, Chris McElroy joins us in the commentary box for our liaison today. So we have a 20-minute qualifying session underway at the moment, which we will bring you in just a few minutes' time. And the race will be 45 minutes plus 1 lap starting at 4 o'clock UTC. All right, Eoin, let's see what the drivers are up against in terms of the cars that they're driving today. They're driving the GTIs. So the XF GTi, a 1.3 litre inline-4 front-engine car with 115 brake horsepower versus the XR GT, a 1.8 litre inline-4 front-engine car again, but rear-wheel drive with 140 horsepower. More horsepower, but there's a lot of corners on this track, Eoin, and the XRG isn't great around corners. Same horsepower per tonne, very different cars. Let's see how they fare. They should be pretty even around here, but at the moment it looks like we have XRGs topping the timing sheets. Who is topping the timing sheets, Eoin, and who is setting the pace?
It's Chungus Jr. who has set a very strong 1 minute 32.2 second lap time ahead of young Tommy B. The XFGs are the current favourite of the majority of our drivers. Sean Lee is the best XRG runner in 5th place at 132.9 there. That's not too bad. B2R looking strong again with Twin Cam threatening to take pole there in 3rd and Antonio in 6th.
Yeah, we've got a great turnout of drivers again for the Layout Racing League. And this is a super, super difficult track. This is one that will be familiar to anybody who has driven in LRL before. It's been used in both seasons so far as I'm aware. Season 1, it was right at the beginning of the season, and Season 2, it was somewhere in the middle. But today, we're using it in round 1, and you can see the drivers are having to navigate some pretty tricky corners. Here's Sean. He's organising this series for the drivers, and this year is competing in the actual racing. So for once, Sean will get to show everybody what he's made of. At the moment, he's chosen to drive the XRG, and he's currently in P5, the top XRG. And if we take a look at the gaps, you can see that he's some 7/10 off of the pole time set by Chungus Jr. in the XFG at the moment.
Yeah, if you feel the slide around these long apexes in the rear-wheel drive, it has to be said. Has a reasonable grip of things so far. But with all those front-wheel drive opponents at the start, you will be feeling the heat. It's a short getaway for the first corner, so he's going to have to strategize what he's going to do. And now here's the lovely bridge section that will overpass, and then braking perhaps about 150 for you. Slip and slide, there you go. Looking neat, avoiding the wall on the inside.
Yeah, very nice slide in there. I mean, even though the XRG is a really great car to drive on layouts like this, my car of choice for Broker Hill would be an XFG. I think it is just slightly faster and it's more reliable across a race distance. It's also a smaller car, and sometimes having a smaller car in the layout racing league can definitely be an advantage. Now, the thing about the layout racing league is that some of the rounds are going to have classes of cars, and other rounds are going to have just a single car. As we see Sean Lee coming across the line, he takes a tight line and he improves to P3. Good lap.
Not too bad.
Here we're watching Antonio, who, if anyone was paying attention to not Layout Racing League, Roni's Tuesday Fun Race in the week, he had a good race on his comeback to Live for Speed. He's here in an XFG driving for Born to Race as he goes over the bridge here. Great camera angle that, and he looks like he's on a tyre warming lap. This is a bit of an exuberant lap. He's almost got in the way of someone there. Not ideal. Anyway, here's our provisional pole sitter, Chungus Jr., driving that Chad Esports XFG livery as he rounds the final corner and heads on to start-finish to start another lap. Let's see what he can manage. Yeah, he's already set a 1 minute 32.2, which is pretty rapid. Young Tommy B, who didn't have such a great race on Tuesday, he is in P2 at the moment, some 0.2 of a second off of Chungus Jr., as he heads through turn 1 and into turn 2. Now, turn 2, the pit lane exit is between turn 2 and turn 3. Drivers will need to make a pit stop during the race, and this is where you can win or lose your race. From personal experience, in season 1, I lost the race because I came out of the pit lane side by side with a car, and they had the line into turn 3, and that was that. It was in the dying laps. So really important to get your pit stop right, and also really important to make sure that you make the most of being on the inside if you're in a battle with someone there. And Chungus Jr. has aborted that run, not happy with how the first couple of corners came together.
Yeah, Sean Lee has gained more places. He's onto the second row.
Mandula for race green running pretty wide there. Luckily for him, track limits aren't enforced as he heads around to the bridge section of the lap. This is a really tricky hairpin actually, as we head down into the final sector of the lap. The bridge here is really nice actually. You can use the left hand side, and as you brake, because it's kind of a slippery surface, Eoin, you can kind of rotate the car here in the XRG. Not as useful in the XFG, as Mandula there running a little bit wide, and you have to get the car all the way back over to the left-hand side of the circuit as you brake down into this hairpin, because there's grass on the exit that you don't want to put your front wheels on. If you put your front wheels on that in the XFG, sorry, you're going to be having all sorts of trouble into the final corner. Mandula is doing a bit of tyre warming before he starts this run, the race green driver. And yeah, if you're a fan of race green, there is a 400-kilometer race around West Hill happening tomorrow. And I think there's still sign-ups available for that on the LFS forum. So if you're interested in doing 400 kilometers around the Westschleife layout, then head to the LFS forum and the race green events section. Mandula starting a lap. Oh, and he's got up on 2 wheels. That looks spectacular over the sausage curbs at turn 1. Yes, some sausage curbs been added to make this track a little bit more tricky for the slower cars. And yeah, not an ideal start to the lap for sure. You don't really want to be up on 2 wheels. As Mandula heads through this double right apex section, you miss the second apex completely and run wide to line yourself up for turn number 4. Heavy on the brakes. He flicks the car in, and then he needs to line himself up for the bridge. Another double apex section here. Again, you kind of miss the second apex because you want to carry all the speed out wide, up and over this bridge before braking for the first of the tighter hairpins on the track. Really nicely put together layout this, and there's a reason it's popular among the drivers. They really enjoy driving this. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second left in qualifying, and that's it. No one else will be able to set any more times. Chungus Jr. still leading the way. Young Tommy B in P2, Sean Lee P3, Twin Cam P4, and Redbot in P5. Antonio P6 at the moment, and Texas for Master Race Car P7 as we watch Mandula rounding the final corner. He's currently up there in P10, just inside P10, and he's gone to the pit lane. He was not happy, so this will be a practice pit stop for Mandula.
Yeah, the drivers been warned off to make sure they use pit lane if they're not on a lap.
Pit Lane Racer is the final car to set a lap, and using the XRG. That was a bit of a crash, wasn't it, on the final right-hander there. Coming down to this sector time. Pit Lane Racer currently P28. We have 28 qualifiers so far in the race, as he runs quite wide through the final corner and just needs to bring this car home to set a lap and aborts to the pit lane. So I think that is it. I think we have our qualifying order set. Let's get a full rundown of this order before we get the show underway in a few minutes' time. So, on pole position for the first round of Layout Racing League 2021, sanctioned by New Dimension Racing in Live for Speed, it's Chungus Jr. with a 132.20. Gentleman's Young Tommy B in P2 with a 132.46. So, pretty close at the top. Great to see. Then Sean Lee, the first of the XRGs, the guy who made the track, in fact, and also runs the series. He's in P3 in his XRG for Air Attack Racing. Twin Cam in P4 for Born to Race, Race Screens, Redbot P5, the top of the race screen cars. Then Antonio in P6, Master Race Cars, Texas P7, Engatini for Teo in P8, Ayub in P9 for Born to Race, and Michael Malik just snuck in there ahead of Mandula at the end in P10. There you can see the rest of the top 20, and I think we have a second page of results. In fact, yes, we do. And just a few names on this list, but there we are. Kig, Atian, Koan, Expabluski, whatever that is in P25, Jamin in P26, Scattle in P27, and Pit Lane Racer in P28. And it's Josh in P25. It's just a bit of a mess of characters there. Okay. Eoin, is the Hoover off yet? Okie dokie. Eoin has still got a Hoover in the background, so we won't hear from him for a while. So yeah, we'll take a very, very short break here and hopefully return for the start of the race with Eoin Harmon's Hoover off. Fantastic. See you shortly. Hello and welcome back to Broker Hill in the GTIs. The Layout Racing League 2021 kicks off with round one here on Sim broadcast on Twitch and YouTube today. Eoin, welcome back. And do you want to tell us a little bit about this track for anyone who's just joining us for the start of the race?
Appreciate the welcome back. Broker Hill is a 2.7 kilometer or 1.7 mile track with lots of right turns, greeting the drivers with varying degrees of the degree and all that. So you have the first corner, it'll be a moderate right-hander, and then the medium to long apex before a hairpin-ish right, and then the drivers continue on for another right turn, and that has a flowing apex before we reach the overpass bridge, and then braking hard into a left-hander. That could cause a lot of disruption on the first lap. And then we have another sharpish turn, followed by the final flowing corner that brings the lap to a close. And the pit lane merges back out on the third turn, I believe it is. So that could make things very interesting if anyone has to pit.
Yes, thank you, Eoin. Can confirm that the corners are in fact made up of degrees. All right, so yes, just a couple of seconds to go before the start of the race. The drivers are just gridding up. And a little refresher about the cars we're using, the XFG and the XRG, front-wheel drive XFG and the rear-wheel drive XRG. Very different cars, but the same power to weight. So they generate around about the same power, but they behave very differently. We have an XFG front row, and then the first XRG driven by Sean Lee on the second row in P3. A good spread of cars, a good sized field, around 30 cars will take the start of the race around Broker Hill, which is a track that's been used in in all three series of the Layout Racing League. And this season is going to be quite the season. We start off here, obviously, in the GTIs, and then we're heading in the LX4, the Fox, the F1, the GT3, the TBOs, back in the GTIs, and then the FBM at various nice layouts in Live for Speed created for this series. If you want to join in, you can. Entries are still open, and you can get involved from round two by checking out the Layout Racing League section in the NDR forum section on the Live for Speed forum. So the grid is just about set, and the drivers will be warming up for 45 minutes plus one lap here, and we'll get you a lap count just as soon as the drivers get on the road. So, Eoin, turn one, especially important, especially considering that there are huge sausage curbs there. Do you reckon we're going to get someone over the fence at turn one?
I could certainly see that happening if the drivers are negligent with each other, or something happens with their grip. Maybe one driver will, yeah. Well,
someone's going to get it wrong.
With them, so.
Yeah, there's no test start, there's no nothing. We've had practices, we've had qualifying session, and then they just get thrown in at the deep end in Layout Racing League. We love it. We do have some safety cars on standby. I think it's Stuart Baker who'll be driving the safety car here today for New Dimension Racing. So yes, remember that we can have safety cars, we can have red flag periods and things like that. All good stuff to look forward to. Seems like there's a little bit of a delay, Eoin, with the start, so we're just going to have to be patient here while everyone sorts themselves out. A new season, so probably the briefing went on a bit long with questions and things like that. And yeah, we should be getting underway here very, very soon. The boys from NDR doing great work as ever to make sure everybody's understanding what all the rules are. There are a lot of them. Even though this is a Layout Racing League, we still have, as I mentioned, the full sanctioning of NDR here, and there's a lot of things to learn if you're new to the series. Hopefully, after round one, everyone knows what's up, and we can get going on time in future. But anyway, we don't mind. It's going to be a great race. As I mentioned, 45 minutes plus a lap here, so strap in. It's going to be a good one. Plenty of strategy that comes into play, Eoin, because of course we have the mandatory pit stop in these races, and it's a really tricky pit lane. You enter it just after the final corner, but you don't exit it until you're just about to enter turn 3. So yeah, a lot of strategy can come into play at the pit stops.
Indeed, and the series is running until the start of August, from what I saw on the graphic. So if things don't go well today, you still have a bit of time to make up if the second round suits you better. But the drivers will be eager to win. There's very, very helpful opportunity awaiting them should they get that first W of the season.
It's absolutely not a problem if you get one of these races wrong. There is a lot of chaos in these races because we love a bit of chaos here on Sim Broadcasts. And you know, if one race goes wrong, then you know you've always got the rest of the season to make up, and you can do, because drivers have come from the back in this season and they've come away with wins later on, and the championship. It changes throughout the dynamic and who's leading and the sorts of tracks that suit certain drivers, but also there's cars, because obviously we are changing cars each round as well. So you really do have to be an all-rounder. Some people just don't get on with certain layouts. It's just the way it works. And certain layouts have certain characteristics that you might not like. For example, this one has an enormous flyover on it. And if you love flyovers, why not tune into the Piran Moto Trial of Champions that's happening on Monday here on Sim Broadcasts. Bank holiday Monday in the UK, and we'll be kicking off with action live on our channel from 1850 UTC for the Piran Moto Trial of Champions. You can check out the information about that on the LFS forum. So we're still waiting. We should have started 4 minutes ago, but clearly there's been a little bit of a delay in the briefing ahead of this race, so we're just waiting for the drivers to line up on the grid before we get you the pictures for the start of the race. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in here on Twitch and YouTube on some broadcasts. You're watching the Layout Racing League. Okay, the drivers are readying up. Eoin Harmon is beside me, ready to watch 28 cars thunder down to turn 1 at Broker Hill in the GTIs. Chungus Jr. will lead young Tommy B in the XFGs ahead of Sean Lee in P3. And let's get this show on the road finally. 7 minutes past 5 and the cars are on the track.
That's Chungus Jr. on pole there. Don't mind that arrow on the track. The drivers are going the correct way.
Yeah. So, here we go then. Chungus Jr. lining up on the pole position. And we have a green light as the 25 car field. We've lost a couple of drivers, have pulled away. Everyone seems to have got away cleanly. Chungus Jr. leads the field. And look at Sean Lee.
Sean Lee's ahead.
Yep, Sean Lee's ahead in that XRG. Fast starting. XRG, and he heads through turn number 1 cleanly, and everybody else seems to have followed through. But there's already a side-by-side battle. Chungus Jr. really wants to get that overtake done early. Side-by-side they go into turn number 3 then, after the pit exit, and Sean's also under pressure there from young Tommy B again. So as quickly as he got those positions, he's almost lost them again. We've got a bit of drama in the background. Michael Malik there in amongst it. He's side-by-side with Ayub, and there we are. Change for the lead confirmed. But Sean still side-by-side with young Tommy B. And who's that on the inside?
Twin
That's
Cam
Twin
on the
Cam.
inside.
3 wide.
Twin Cam has the placement spot on. He's into second place for the moment. Braking zone arrives. Sean Lee now has the ideal entry, but Twin Cam holds it. Now young Tommy B switches with Antonio waiting in the wings. Someone's going to give way here. The XFGs benefit the most. Antonio now drags away of Sean. What a massive sector 2 this has been. Twin Cam will now shield young Tommy B. Doesn't want to clip the curb too hard. And they're back to back here. Great first lap.
Absolute gift for Chungus while all these guys were scrapping. Sean, unfortunately, down to P5 for him. We had a spinner in the background. I think it was Jamin. We'll have to confirm. But it was an XRG, so it won't have been Jamin. We'll find out who that was. It was a pink XRG that spun around at the back. Sean is making a move up the inside of Antonio, and it's difficult to make a move there, but he's managed to make it stick so far. He's on the inside for turn 3, which is where you want to be. It really is important to be on the inside for turn 3. Can Twin Cam stay ahead of young Tommy B? Young Tommy B is going for a send.
That's brave. It could force Twin Cam onto the sausage curbs, and it has. Sean Lee now has the drag for the next right-hander. What's he going to do? He stays modest here, no panic. Texas is now on the offensive here against Antonio.
Yeah, it's all side-by-side action as we end up getting at Broker Hill, and it's always interesting when you've got an XRG in amongst the mix. We're hearing that Magic's gone down the pit lane, so we have our first exiter from the pit lane, and it was a scheduled stop. So Chungus Jr. leads ahead of young Tommy B. Twin Cam for Born to Race P3, Sean Lee P4, Antonio is side-by-side with Texas. So Antonio is coming to as we've got a pitter. Who's that? It's Teo Engatini coming in for his scheduled pit stop. He doesn't want to be in amongst this traffic. He's decided to come into the pit lane. So that is a scheduled pit stop for him. The pit lane speed limit is pretty slow here, and they have to stop, and then they can do whatever they want in the pit stop, and then they just have to drive away. So Engatini does nothing and drives away. Chungus Jr. Owen, fastest lap.
Yeah, he's got the breakaway he desperately wanted, and the way things are developing, he's just going to have even more advantage. Young Tommy B maybe just a little bit safe from Twin Cam for the moment. Sean Lee is very enthusiastic. He won that podium back. And Ayub in a spot of bother in 10th place. Emre Khan is behind him now. Michael and Yeroloko battling.
Yeah,
could
Michael
be too wide.
Just got past the overpass car. Yeah, that's Emre Khan, the MRC driver, who's trying to get alongside Ayub. And he's going to have to go around the outside, and he's got to be careful because Mandula might have him on the exit. Mandula with the title line behind. He'll be on the outside for the next corner though. Emre Khan's under a lot of pressure now from the race green car that qualified in P11 and is now back in P11. As I said that. Good move.
Oh, nice contact. Jamin and Kauki, I think that's the name, have collided at the hairpin. So Jamin loses the positions. Kauki continues on in his XRG.
Yeah, Scattle going for it as well. Good move there on the inside out the final corner. That move was on Jamin. And who was that who just snuck past? Was that... no, Timu Soni is behind. So yeah, Jamin coming under a bit of... he's been absolutely mugged there actually by Cone and Scattle. Trad Esports lead the way. Chungus Jr. is leagues ahead of young Tommy B. Young Tommy B has a bit of clear air behind him now, so he should be able to focus. Twin Cam is a surprise entry into the top 3. He came from quite a way down. Sean Lee in P4, he's made up a place again, and he's managed to gap Texas, who's busy squabbling with Antonio as they head down into the braking zone off the bridge. So yes, we have a definite fight on our hands from P2 down to P probably 8 or 9. But Chungus Jr., he really is disappearing up the road.
Yeah, he's setting the benchmark for everybody to catch up to. He could even make a pit stop if he felt there was a suitable gap in the midfield. But for now, he's perfectly happy where he is.
Yeah, as the cars make their way across the start-finish line, and the timer ticks down. The timer will tick down to 45 minutes, and then we will have a clock reset as the 45 minutes plus 1 lap is the total time of the race, so don't worry so much about the timer there. Yeah, Chungus Jr., what a lead he's got. 4 seconds nearly over young Tommy B. We head on to another lap around Broker Hill. As the drivers make their way onto lap 5, we have a bit of a there's a bit of a void opening up between the top 2, but we have a battle on for the podium. Sean Lee has caught right up to the back of Twin Cam, and he looks like he's going to try and make a move pretty soon, Eoin. He won't manage it really into any of the corners. It's got to be a move on the straight. Sean will need to get a really good exit because he's not likely to be able to hold a move in the corners in that car. The XFG is just quicker out of the corners than the XRG, and Twin Cam is coming under a lot of pressure.
That's certainly a valid point. The tyres on Sean's car are in excellent condition, so his battles will need to be done on the straight against the XFG. This straight won't be long enough, unfortunately. Maybe he can get just behind the back wheel with his front wheels. Chungus Jr. puts in another fastest lap, taking it back from young Tommy B. Sean looks briefly on the inside. The big concrete curb suits Sean Lee's entry a bit more, but that grass on the outside was treacherous. The drag now brings Twin Cam under pressure for the next entry. Oh, he's even going to lunge, saying stay away from my racing line.
Yeah, Sean completely off the track there, trying to do the switchback on the exit. This is a really great attempt. The more these guys squabble, the more it brings Texas and Antonio closer. So more of this, please, Sean. Keep piling the pressure on. Magic has come into the pit lane because he got drive-through for cutting the pit lane entry blend line, we believe. So that's not gone to plan for him. As Sean Lee, he's made the move. Well, he's made the move so far. Twin Cam will have the inside, but Sean's got the momentum around the outside. And surely that's game, set, and match.
Yeah, the sausage curbs didn't deter Sean there, and now he has 3rd place. And just behind them, it's Antonio and Texas. I was nearly tempted to make a San Antonio, Texas joke, but we don't have a San available to drive, so Sean will have to fill in that role. Sean Antonio.
Yeah, Sean needs to be careful now.
Antonio's through, yeah.
Background, yeah. He needs to be careful because now he's got that XFG in the draft, and if Twin Cam can get a good exit out of the corners, then the draft is super powerful, and he'll be able to get that place straight back. Texas and Antonio have now switched positions, and we've got a 3-way train in the background, Eoin.
This is Ayub defending from Michael and Mandula. What can he possibly do here to keep 2 drivers at bay? So far, so good, as the race green car wants to look on the inside. He's not going to get it just yet. Yeah,
so we've got some Born to Race cars defending, some Born to Race cars attacking. Ayub is very definitely attacking, as we've got Mandula nearly running into the back of Michael Malik's car. It's wonderful with this top-down camera. We can actually read what's on the top of Michael's car. This way up is what it said. Yes, Michael, you should try and keep your car on its wheels today, if possible. After that little bit of a scare, Mandula's dropped off the back of these guys. Just saw Stuart Baker, our safety car driver, parked up there at the end of the pit lane, and Ayub still having to defend hard from Michael Malik.
Yeah, Master Race Car have Emery Khan to cheer on as well, so Michael may be able to get some support in a lap or two's time.
Yeah, Emre Khan, I don't know if he just left the pits or what happened, because Mandula is now behind him. So Emre Khan hasn't been in the pit lane, it was a straight-up overtake, yeah. Emre Khan is in P11 and Mandula slipped again back down to P12. Emre Khan is in the position that Mandula started in, and I'm sure he will very much want it back. And here he comes. He's going to try and make the move on the straight.
Equal machinery between these two. Emery is going to stick to the outside now. He can't switcheroo here, braking as hard as he can, and that's Mandula clean as a whistle.
Great move there, but it's not over. Emre Khan knows how to race, and he will want that position back as quickly as Mandula just took it away from him. Obviously, it was a long straight. Emre Khan's going to have to get it done in the twisty bits until another straight comes along. But yeah, so far, so good for Mandula. Back into P11.
I'm looking at Jamin and Rabbit, another MRC car, heading into that turn 4. Rabbit has the drive in his XRG. So we'll see if Jamin has any attack, but now we're back to 12th and 11th here. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, apologies for the ice cream van outside if you can hear it. But anyway, Emre Khan is back behind Mandula. We've got a great side-by-side battle happening. Yeah, we've got... great move there. Keeps it ahead. Sorry that we had to cut away from that Jamin battle and Rabbit. But yeah, Rabbit has managed to stay ahead of Jamin in that XRG. Rabbit was the car that in fact spun at the start of the race down into the corner we are arriving at now. We don't know whether he was tagged from behind, but it looks like he clouted the apex because he's got a lot of damage on that front right.
Yeah, we'll certainly monitor his situation in case it gets more dangerous for his driving, but he seems to be okay. Chungus Jr., 3.7 seconds clear of young Tommy B. I think these two have shown the mettle so far in these 9 laps, and Sean Lee is doing his best to represent the XRGs.
Yeah, we're coming up to the 15-minute mark in the race, which will mark half an hour to go, plus a minute, or plus a lap, or whatever arrives first. Sean is sticking in P3. I mean, this is a good effort from Sean. He lost a couple of places, and then he's had to fight his way back through, and he's in a solid P3 now, and he does appear to be dropping Twin Cam behind. And Antonio's still under pressure from Texas. We have, the cars are now beginning to spread out. We will stick with this battle for now to see if Texas can make any inroads into Antonio. Antonio is a dab hand in the GTi cars. He was, he's got quite a reputation in these cars, but he's been away for a while, so maybe he's lost a step. But we should see Antonio begin to find that form he used to have in these cars as the season progresses, I'm sure. But let's not rule him out of this race. He's currently sat in a very, very decent P5. He's got Texas, a very experienced racer, behind him for Master Race Car in P6. And then a whole train of cars that you can see entering the shot behind. Michael Malik is still fighting closely with Ayub. These two race hard all the time. Know each other's racing styles pretty well, I imagine, by now. And I'm sure they're having a good time around this Broker Hill layout. Got Master Race Car's Dorito in the pits for what should be his one and only stop. He stops and he goes again. He needs to keep the car under the pit lane speed limit so that he doesn't get a drive through like Magic managed. Magic is currently driving around in P24th and last at the moment as we've lost a driver from this race. Back with our leader. Let's go on board for a lap of Broker Hill as Chungus Jr. exits the bridge and enters the final sector.
Yeah, he's been on his 10th lap for a minute now, so it should be another 30 seconds if his pace remains true. Beautiful entry into the right hairpin, and he can see no one in his mirrors, so he can push on for this 100-meter board. Braking now, has the concrete curb on his inside, not a problem. Shifts up to third gear now, and you can see that pit lane entry, doesn't need to use it. And pushing as hard as he can, should be 80 miles an hour. And crosses the line at this point. Yeah, 133.2 and enough. And now another right-hander to begin. The little structure, sort of statue, greets him, but you didn't quite see it there now. Pushing flat out through the turn number 2. Fourth gear, he's hit now. And this is the tricky corner, I think. If you've got a car side by side with you, you can't go any further than those curbs. But with the space all to himself, Chungus absolutely nails it.
Yeah, great commentary there, Owen, as we enter the final 2 corners of the, I guess, the inverted lap, kind of starting halfway around the lap for the onboard. And this is where the bridge begins. This is a really, really nice corner to battle through. And you can see how wide it is. You can get a pretty decent battle down into this this hairpin, which is what we're going to expect when the drivers begin to make their pit stop. Yaroloco and Ayub are battling hard while we were watching Chungus Jr. out front. These two, as I just mentioned, are battling over the bridge. Perfect, thank you guys. And Ayub there with the better line for the corner, but it is possible to hold it around the outside here because it's so wide. But Yaroloco has run a bit deep and will have to settle in behind again. Ayub maintains P8 for now.
You can feel the teeth rattler there for Ayub, got hit in the back. He's able to resume his race without any trouble, but it's Michael for MRC now, challenging these two.
Yeah, he caught up to the back quite
on
quickly.
The grass goes Yaroloco. I think you should be able to clean those tyres in time.
Yeah, Michael actually clipped the pit lane entry sign there. He was that close, probably slightly unsighted because of the Argentinian Turismo car ahead of him. Down into turn 1 we go, heavy on the brakes. Michael currently at the back of this 3-car train and has the best line. He actually clips the apex and he has a run on Yaroloco. Yaroloco will obviously defend the inside. Michael will have to choose which way to go. Goes to the outside.
Yeah, he needs to hang it in there, see if he can compete for the overpass section. I just saw Simgintas. He made a pit stop from 13th. Looking now and then, but Michael has one more corner to go. This is an ideal opportunity if he wants to take the plunge. Touring car style slap on the back there.
Yeah, great stuff. It's what we like to see. Michael Malek having a good fight in P10. Wants to progress further through the top 10. As Simgintas leaves the pit lane now. And yeah, Michael, again, with a tighter line than Yaroloco. It definitely has the pace, a little bit of almost contact there. And surely he wants to get past because all that gap that he gained on Mandula has come back down to basically nothing. Michael Malek really wants to get past Yaroloco before Mandula does the both of them. Into the final corner we come, and it's back to a 3-car battle almost.
Michael has a great run. Yaroloco does give him a tank slapper. And a bit of anxiety there for Michael. He's honking the giving him bother. So we'll see if he can make this count into corner number 1.
Oh, he's kept his nose in there. There is going to be contact.
Again.
Yeah, Mandula's going to love this. He's going to be straight past Yaroloco. Yet more side-by-side drama. And yeah, if you go side-by-side through turn 1 and you don't yield to each other, you're going to get mugged from behind. Mandula's got a great run. Won't be able to get past Michael on this attempt. Or will he? Oh, no. Yaroloco bumps Michael. That's a bit unfriendly. Almost 3 wide. In fact, Yaroloco's managed to get back past Mandula. That was impressive. Bit of a punt to pass, though, you have to say.
Yeah, I think these two have no love lost. They are absolutely pushing each other's limits here. And Mandula will probably just want to say, I don't want you guys interfering with me, so I want to get past.
Yeah, Michael trying the inside line again, but this time Yaroloco actually managed to maintain some speed. We are 3 wide. There's more contact. Lots of door banging, a bit unnecessary that. Michael trying to switch back.
Hit the wall.
Yeah, this is. I'm sure they're having fun, but there's now another car joining the party, and it's Emre Khan, who we know is pretty quick. Yeah, now that Yoroloko's managed to get to the front, the last thing he wants to do is run wide, and he's run wide. Mandula and Emra can't do the best thing they think is, is possible, and they go down the pit lane. So those two are going to stick together, and yeah, their progress was a little bit stunted by that that battle between Michael, which is going side by side into turn one again. Oof, no contact, and Michael maintains the position. Just.
What's going to be the choice here? Yoroloko wobbles, not sure what he wants to do. He commits a long braking point to the
It's too wide.
outside.
Far too wide. He has to go right round the sausage curbs, and that's going to cost him time. And yeah, if these two keep fighting, then Mandula and Emra Khan are going to have a party because they're going to be ahead unless they are battling in and amongst themselves. Mandula rejoins behind MRC Rabbit. That's quite a way down the order, actually. That's kind of P16 territory. And it does look like Emra Khan had a slightly slower stop. In fact, quite a slower stop than Mandula, because he's joined 2 places further back and is going to be fighting with Scattle for a few laps.
Yeah, Ingatini was running on his own there with the Rabbit. About half second ahead, so it is trouble for Emre Khan.
One of our top runners is in the pits. That's Twin Cam. He was 4th. He's now going to be way down the order, and his teammate Antonio will take up that P4 spot. Sean Lee still running P3, Young Tommy B P2, and Chungus Jr. for Chad Esports leading the way by 3.6 seconds. The gap has come down. It was 4 at one point, I believe, but yeah, it's back down to 3.6. So yeah, Young Tommy B is doing a good job of keeping Chungus as honest as possible. Sean in his XRG, though, is struggling a bit with the pace. He's some 6 seconds behind the gentleman driver.
Yeah, this is big for Mandula now. Yoroloko is going to be entering turn 1 now for his pit exit. Mandula will be desperate to get the move done.
Cookie's in the pit lane, serving a drive-through for causing a collision. And Twin Cam is down in P9 now behind Michael Malik. Everybody ahead has yet to stop. I mentioned that Emra Khan would have rejoined somewhere around Rabbit, and here we are, side by side. Rabbit in the XRG for Master Race Car, and they've got the Teo driver of Engatini ahead of them as well. They want to catch up to the Teo car to get this battle into a 3-way fight.
Yeah, and that is Yoroloko in the background there, Pete. You'd be furious about how his pit stop went. But Antonio will be a driver he'll be competing with, so we'll see if he's lost even more time.
It's a quick stop. Quite a long first gear there, so a bit of probably some clutch slip happening on the Born to Race car of Antonio. As his teammates tear past, Antonio's going to be outside the top 10 if he's not careful. But anyway. Chungus Jr. entering the final 2 corners of lap 16 in this race with 25 minutes gone of the 45 that we expect to be happening, plus a lap. And you can see that the gap to Gentleman Young Tommy V is visibly coming down now, Eoin. Young Tommy V is on it. He's brought the gap down 4/10 in the last lap alone. And let's see if he can keep doing these consistent lap times, because in a few laps, it might be a battle for the lead again. As we head onto the start-finish straight, he is visibly closer, and Sean is still 6.4 seconds behind Young Tommy B. That gap
I think
doesn't
Tommy
seem to be going down.
Yeah, Tommy's always been within 3 seconds of our race leader, but he's actually gotten it down from about 3.9 to 3.2. So on that pace, he can get it down to 2.5 by about 15 minutes to go, or 10. Bear in mind pit stops, of course.
Yeah, the pit stop is all important. You can lose a lot of time in the pit pit stop. It all comes down to how much you've practiced it and how it goes on the day. The pit stops in racing, of course, are as important as the race itself. You can win or lose a race in the pit lane, especially when the gap's like 3 seconds. We have a battle on for that position. Rabbit's actually thwarted it. He's gone in the pits, but that leaves Yaroloco and Emre Khan to battle side by side. Engatini some way ahead. More horn blasting as we head down into turn 1. Yaroloco on the inside, and he keeps P12. Or moves up to P13, sorry. Side by side again. Head down into turn 3, Eoin.
Yeah, Emre has the positioning as of the moment. Yaroloco is not afraid to get down and dirty. So he may have the inside line for this next corner. So who's going to blink first? And it looks like Emre Khan has gone wide. Yaroloco will overtake nice and cleanly.
Yeah, a nice move there as they enter the bridge section. And someone we haven't talked about much. You did mention him, but Sim Jintas is behind him, P15. Mandula and Atian are going at it. This is an XRG versus XFG battle as Atian drops a wheel on the grass. That'll slow him down as they run up to the final corner. Mandula's still in that P11 spot. Hasn't progressed really in this race, has he?
No, this is a disappointment after taking to the pit lane. Although there's anxious moments for Atian. He may be able to have the boost of speed down the home straight. But this racing line may not help him with the braking zone with Mandula yet. You can see he's gained the horsepower.
Well ahead. Yeah, well ahead.
That's
so there's the
really
visible difference between the XRG and XRG. Got turn 1 very wrong, and Mandula sweeps straight past into turn 2.
Yeah, the aerodynamics helped Atian until the first corner, and he just smacked off the inside wall, and that has meant Mandula's ahead.
Yeah, so did all the hard work and then messed it up in turn 1. It happens. I'm interested in this battle at the front, Eoin. Look at the gap between Young Tommy B and Chungus Jr. It's come down to less than 3 seconds, and it continues to tumble. Half a second more has been taken out of Chungus Jr. since we last talked about it.
And in fact, he's pitted, Pete.
Okie dokie.
This is the moment.
So there is a change for the lead. Chungus Jr. stops and goes again. Again, a very long first gear, so quite a slow pull away for the Polish driver. But anyway, let's see how that develops. What will be interesting is if Chungus Jr. comes out in any traffic. It looks like he is going to come out in some clear air. Does have Ayub and Michael Malik approaching, but such is the line through turn 2 that you do end up actually gaining a little bit of time on the other drivers on the racetrack, and that is in fact Redbot, who he's going to join ahead of. Oh, YTB, Young Tommy B, leads the way. Sean Lee has been gifted P2 since Chungus made his pit stop, and now these two really need to get the hammer down. YTB really needs to make the most of the clear air that he's got, because he was definitely catching Chungus before Chungus pitted. Let's see what happens. We're approaching the half an hour mark already in this race, Eoin, so we'll only have 15 minutes left plus a lap. And Young Tommy B will be thinking about making his pit stop sometime soon. But
he just depends how he feels with his rhythm, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the rhythm now. He's got nothing to focus on ahead, which sometimes is a problem. It's often said that it's easier to chase in racing than it is to lead. And now he's got nothing to focus on ahead. He has no kind of reference. He has to base it all on his prior knowledge and muscle memory. And, the track ahead of him and anything that it throws at him through turn 1, great apex. And it has to be said that Sean, even though he's the highest placed XRG, he's not making that many inroads into YTB. His pace is just too strong at the moment. But Sean is showing those XFGs what he's made of. The XRG is not the favourite going into this, and he's currently in P2. Net P3 on the road.
Yes, we'll see when he feels the need to take that mandatory stop. You don't have to change any part of the car. You can just stop and go. So Chungus will be hoping to hit the 132s or 133s as soon as he can. Texas is 2 seconds up the road, but that should shrink very, very quickly if the race leading pace continues here. Yeah, braking just after the 150-meter board.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Texas does not have to yield to Chungus. Remember that even though they're on alternate strategies, Texas could play a part in the lead of the race. So we will pay very close attention to see how quickly Chungus can get past. As we have a battle between Emrakar and Yaraloco again, I feel like the Argentina Turismo team need more sponsors on that car because, well, we have had a lot of airtime with these guys today. Yeah, Emrakar too, driving a pretty plain livery, it has to be said. Needs a few more logos on there. Anyway, Emrakar on the inside, onto the hairpin. Yaraloco will try the switchback. Getting a masterclass in tactical racing today, aren't we? Yaraloco sweeps through.
Yeah, I can tell there is a Honda Type R pair of logos on his boot, or his or whatever the Americans call it, I forget. So yeah, it might be a drifter style car that he's paying tribute to.
I think Yaraloco might need to get the manual out for the XFG, as in the instruction manual, because he's had lights on, he's had the horn. I think he just doesn't know which buttons to press, frankly. But yeah, he's defending from Emrakar down the straight. Pulls over to the inside to get on that defensive horn blaring again. And Yaraloco will hold the inside for now.
Maybe Emre has found the inside based off that understeer. This could be Yaraloco's time to use the outbraking technique again. No, in fact, he's letting Emery dictate the pace for the switchback. Yeah, wow. Good call.
That was perfectly judged switchback, and he's actually gained quite a lot of time from that. Very nice. That battle is going to go on to the end, I think. I want to see what's happening with Chungus, and here we are. He isn't catching Texas that quickly. Yeah, so this means that if Texas is on similar pace to Chungus when he catches him, he really could be a threat to his lead. Chungus may have wished that he'd pitted a bit later in the race, because Texas could throw that spanner in the works. It just depends how consistent young Tommy B is being, and judging by Sean Lee's pace, very, because the gap has not changed that much at all. Rabbit has dropped to the back, Eoin, for Master Race Car. He's just had a damage repair stop, 20 odd seconds that he was stopped for.
Yeah, I think I did mention earlier that he might have wanted to repair that damage he picked up, and that has brought him way down the order. And he's been lapped by Michael Malik. That's the 6th or 7th place runner, I beg your pardon. So that is a daunting task. In Texas
has run wide. Yeah, I mean, Texas ran wide. This is what Chungus needs. Like, he really needs this. If Texas battles with him, this is crucial for the lead of the race. And in fact, Texas has decided that he doesn't want to get involved and has backed out of that move. So Chad Esports can breathe a sigh of relief there. Texas all but dropped it on his own there, going up into the bridge section. And yeah, that could be crucial for the lead of the race for Chungus Jr.
A few more cars decide to pit, such as Pit Lane Racer and Cookie. So they are under threat of getting lapped by our leaders as well. Yeah, in fact, they surely will be at the stage. But Timu Soini will be the driver they'll be hoping to compete with. He's 23rd, but he's ahead, jumping up to 21st.
Yeah, Cookie's been down the pit lane twice, once for a drive-through and now for a mandatory pit stop, so not the afternoon he wanted, as young Tommy B, our leader, has to make his way past these back markers now. This is
trouble in the pit lane. Texas and one of the MRC, or the Born to Race cars, have collided. I didn't catch the start of the AU, is in fact the other driver, so Texas was facing 180 degrees the wrong way, and unfortunately for Texas, that's going to cost him a huge amount of time.
Okay, Ayub's done an undertake in the pit lane and missed his pit box slightly, so that's cost him even more time. And you can see just how much time that's cost Ayub. He was right behind Texas when they came in the pits, and that little bit of uncertainty about where to stop the car has cost him maybe a second and a half, Eoin?
Yeah, that felt like a good second to me. Maybe could be close to 2 seconds. Mandula crossed the pit entry blend line.
Oh no.
That's a drive-through penalty.
Okay,
bye-bye top 10.
Yeah, bye-bye top 10 for Mandula. It was looking like it was going to be on, but
Doesn't have the air loco. I
that's
saw him
definitely gone.
sideways.
Oh, he's over.
He's over.
Rolled it. He's rolled it. This could be a safety car, so stand by. This is crucial for the lead. If young Tommy B hasn't seen this, he has to come in the pit lane, else it's game over. Oh, and young Tommy B's gone past the pit lane. This is a disaster for young Tommy B. It's really, really unfortunate. Chungus has crashed, but if he gets the car going again, it might be okay. I feel like Sean may have been gifted the win here. If Sean managed to see it, Sean saw it. Sean's in the pits.
Seen it, yeah.
Young Tommy B has, unfortunately, he just passed the pit entry when the safety car was called. He can go at full racing speed here until he catches the safety car. When he catches the back of Stuart Baker's safety car, he has to slow down. He has to pit this lap, Owen.
Yeah, the pit entry will be open for the drivers, but Sean Lee jumping for joy. That is a huge pendulum swing in favour of that XRG top runner.
You've got to feel for young Tommy B though. He had the pace, and it's just unlucky when that safety car was called. He's got to now drive behind the safety car really slowly for the next three or four corners, and in the meantime, Sean and all the drivers behind will be catching up to the safety car. You've got to feel for him. Where's Chungus? He's down in P6, and yeah, even though he's made his pit stop, he has damage now on that car, and he won't be able to overtake those cars ahead. We'll have to work out what happened to him later on. But anyway, if we don't see young Tommy B come into pit lane, then he's pretty much, well, you have to say he's pretty much given up on any hopes of winning. But if I was him, I would put this car into the pit lane as quickly as possible as he does come into pit lane. Okay, let's see what happens for the lead here. Sean is just exiting or entering the second to last corner. He hasn't yet caught up to the back of the safety car. And I reckon I have to say that young Tommy B lost more than 6 seconds behind the safety car. What is Sean going to do? Sean is going to be in the lead. Young Tommy B has stopped, and it looks like he's doing work. That's not what he needs either. Some work happened on that car. Some fuel went in, so 4.8 second stop may have cost him the lead, but it doesn't look like it's quite worked out, because Twin Cam and Chungus are surely going to get past. Young Tommy B is only just exiting the pit lane, Owen. And here you'll see the other two cars maybe get past. It's going to be close. You might be lucky.
He will be sweating now. Twin Cam. No, it's not going to be.
He's ahead.
For the Irishman, yeah. That's young Tommy B. Obviously crestfallen, but he'll still be within a slight chance.
So a hardware or alt-tab mishap for Chungus Jr. perhaps, but Sean Lee has been gifted the lead. Obviously, Sean Lee for Air Attack Racing is the promoter of the Layout Racing League, sanctioned by New Dimension Racing, and he'll be delighted that he's now occupying net first place. YTB is how has Chungus ended up ahead?
Chungus has overtaken under yellows, Pete.
Yeah, okay, so YTB needs to get a move on and stay ahead, because we're still under safety car here, and he needs to catch up to the back. That was a bit weird. We had cars overtaking under safety car, but they seem to have sorted themselves out. Sean Lee is now behind safety car Stu, and hopefully after maybe one more lap we will get this race going again. But you can still see, Owen, some back markers that have only just managed to get past the safety car after the wave rounds. Yeah,
that would be a tense moment. Those back markers need to get through. The moment they're signaled, it means with 5.5 minutes to go, the race is in Sean Lee's hands here. But young Tommy B, probably with the fuel on board, made an adjustment with his F11 settings, so he might still have a chance, but I'd say that's what distracted him. He must have been thinking about his fuel or whatever he did in the pit stop. So in the safety car, we'll be back in the pits this lap, and we will get racing again. I feel like there'll only be about 2 or 3 laps to go at the very end with the delay we're going to be suffering on the safety car.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I think young Tommy B will be pretty relieved to see that Chungus Jr. has had a disaster, because I think he must have expected him to be ahead after the pit lane incident, and also the fact that young Tommy B was behind Chungus to begin with anyway. So YTB only has to get past Sean, who will get a good start, but we're under safety car. So if young Tommy B can be planted behind the XRG, maybe he has a chance to get past easily. Sean's going to make that car as wide as possible, and young Tommy B needs to be careful because Twin Cam and Chungus want the lead. They want the podium as well, and they will be ready to pounce. So tense moments. 3 corners to go until Stu Baker peels the New Dimension Racing Layout Racing League FZ5 safety car into pit lane, and then Sean will set the pace.
And a hat tip has to be given to Redbot. He's really emerged from obscurity in this race, and there's a slight chance for podium. But okay, so Redbot, I beg your pardon, he is doing well. It seemed like I obviously forgot where he qualified, but he has a chance for the podium.
Has pace. He definitely has pace in this race. And look, we can see that Sean Lee is now going to cross that safety car line there and leading the pack away. Everyone's waiting in anticipation behind. This is like a reminiscent of an F1 start where the leader decides to wiggle. And I think he's gone. I think he's bolted. YTB had a great restart. That is the perfect restart. Look at it. He's right behind Sean. Everyone else was caught napping. And here we go. Young Tommy B needs to stay fixed to that rear wing of Sean Lee. And look at the gap behind them. The others were just caught napping. Twin Cam is nowhere.
Yeah, I saw young Tommy. He had a slight tap of Sean's rear left. And maybe that's when Sean decided I'm going to bolt. And YTB was ready for it. But Twin Cam wasn't. And in fact, Redbot is defending.
Redbot ran wide, and he didn't see that there were 2 other cars on the inside, and that's Michael Malek and Antonio who have been collected there. That fault lies entirely at Redbot's feet there, and that's going to cause all sorts of chaos.
Antonio just
that was really aggressive. That's going to be looked at by the stewards, no doubt. Michael was a completely innocent passenger there, and he's lost a ton of places because of that.
Yeah, a desperate moment for him. Redbot gets away from Texas. Antonio now battling with his teammate. But we're now looking for the battle for the podium. Chungus Jr. is on the outside of Twin Cam. Braking as late as he can. He now has to plan his route for the next corner. And in fact, Twin Cam holds the line. Chungus wasn't side by side from the next right-hander.
Yeah, this is important for YTB. It's giving him more time to try and get past Sean. Antonio and Abe side by side, teammates. We said this in RTFR that the teammates would probably leave them room, didn't we, Eoin? But they didn't. These Born to Race teammates, they love knocking 9 bells out of each other. As we see Abe running wide and potentially going to be losing a place to Engatini. As we have Mandula in the pit lane again. What's happened there? Oh, he cut the pit lane entry, didn't he? So this is a drive-through for him. Engatini will be alongside Ayub on the start-finish. Keep an eye up at the front. It looks like Chungus still hasn't managed to find a way past Twin Cam, as we see Engatini trying to go around the outside of the Born to Race car. Hasn't worked on this occasion.
Yeah, 1 minute to go. So this lap and the +1 to go. Sean Lee narrowly ahead of his competitor, young Tommy B. This is the 28th regulation lap, so we should be hitting around 30. Twin Cam again has a moderate gap in third place. It's all about young Tommy B, I think. He's 0.6 of a second behind, but you will feel closer now with this overpass coming up.
Yeah, you've got to think this late safety car has completely thrown this race wide open, but Chungus Jr., whatever happened to him during the first part of the safety car period, has completely ruined his race. Sean probably can't believe his luck right now, but he's also probably got a sweat on. As the clock ticks down, it's going to be marginal. We may get across the line before the 45 minutes is up, so we may end up with 2 extra laps, but we will see. It's going to be close. We are going to get confirmation of it in our ears very shortly as to what's going to happen, but it is going to be close. Okay, we have 1 more lap. Go. This is the final lap of the race.
Sean holds the outside line. He has the comfort to do so. This may be as comfortable as it gets this lap. Fastest lap, in fact, by young Tommy B. And that really means Sean has to place his car in every correct position, every correct time, or else that's the day done as a potential victor. There we go. Look at young Tommy using his front-wheel drive to the advantage. But Sean... Yeah, this is now side-by-side for the race lead. Up we go, the crest of the bridge. Sean Lee holds the inside line. But you can see they're so close. And young Tommy gets a bump for his troubles. Sean will now drift outside, but that's where he needs to be. Young Tommy tries to be an agile runner.
This is really aggressive racing from these two. Final corner, Owen. Take us to the flag.
200 meters, 150, 100. Who breaks later? Sean does, but the undercut maybe here. The big beefy XRG can't hold on. It's going to be a photo finish, folks.
The XRG is going to have the legs. The XRG is going to have the legs, but can young Tommy B keep it ahead? What a finish this is going to be. I think Sean's just got it.
Sean has
just got it.
Oh, 300ths of a second. That's the difference between a winner and a runner-up.
That is a good effort from young Tommy B. That was a great... He lined it up perfectly. If the start-finish line had been ever so slightly closer to the final corner, he would have had it. 300ths of a second. That is the closest finish you're going to see all week. Amazing stuff. And Sean must be so happy with that.
Yeah, Sean will be beaming with that victory. Young Tommy B... Well, you just have to sympathize with him. He did everything he could. And second place is his finish. Twin Cam has finished third, 0.2 of a second clear of Chungus. Red Bot completes the top 5. And then we have Texas, Antonio, Ayub, Ungatini, and Emre Khan finishing up in the top 10. Dorito, Kig, Magic, Simjintas, Atzian, Michael Malik, Born to Race Scattle, Mandula penalised earlier on, finishes 18th. Then we have Jamin 19th and Kuki 20th. Team Usoni 21st, Pit Lane Racer 22nd, and Rabbit is the 23rd and last finisher.
Well, I really hope that we get a word with our podium finishers. It'd be great to speak to Sean and see how he feels. Obviously, being the promoter of the Layout Racing League, it must be great to win the first round of Season 3. I think this is the first time he's ever competed in his own series as well, which is quite a turnout. But I honestly believe I thought he lost it before the final corner. I thought that young Tommy B had just done enough. But, yep, the car choice in the end absolutely saved Sean's day. The XRG, just with that tiny extra bit of power, had it. So there we are. Sean Lee lines up on the podium with Twin Cam. We are waiting for young Tommy B, who seems to have destroyed his car on the final lap. Not quite sure how, but anyway, here he comes, wiggling his way to the podium area. There are our top 3 of the series. Sean Lee in the middle, and we've got young Tommy B just arriving there in P2 with Twin Cam in 3rd position. Owen, can you give us the full rundown of the order?
Yeah, I shall do so for everybody. Sean Lee victorious, a 46-minute, 35.34 second time over 29 laps was sufficient to get the victory, but it was just the 300ths of a second that divided him from young Tommy B in second place. Born to Race's Twin Cam has benefited as well from other drivers feeling the heat, and he takes 3rd position. But Chungus Jr. as well, he'll be very disappointed with missing out on a win. 4th place for him. Redbot completes the top 5. Then Texas, Antonio, Ayub, Ungatini, and Emre Khan are the top 10. Dorito, Kig, Magic, Simjintas, Atzian, Michael Malik, Scattle, Mandula, Jamin, and Kuki are the top 20. Moving along to our second page, Timu Soini 21st, Pit Lane Racer 22nd. MRC Rabbit was a lap down, but he is classified as a finisher. But Yerloco crashed out with a few laps to go. Then we have Koan out of the race. And and then 26th place, didn't make the start.
Thank you very much for that rundown, Eoin. And it does appear as though we have an interview with the number 3 finishing car there, Catal Crawkin. I'll leave this one to you, Eoin.
So, Cahill, congratulations on a 3rd place. Definitely the start of the race was fairly, exciting, but then it calmed down. But how did you think you got yourself on the podium?
I don't know. I think the safety car helped a lot. And Chungus, whatever you call him, Junior, he had an accident before the safety car, so I think I just managed to get by him then. But
yeah,
I enjoy these autocross style races anyway.
Yeah, it certainly looks like a heap of fun. So obviously you made your pit stop reasonably early, so you didn't have any trouble coming out, I presume?
No, it paid off well to do it kind of halfway through.
Yeah, that was a wise decision in the end. Just we saw your loco crash out, and that ruined a lot of strategies, particularly
Indeed.
for Chungus. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, thank you, Catal. We will have a quick chat to our race winner. You must have felt like you got gifted that one a little bit. Sean, how do you feel?
Hey, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think the Chungus had an accident. He crashed into the wall, and Tommy, I think he overfueled in the pit. So I'm not sure what happened. I mean, the pace was not really there, to be honest. I mean, we were almost about half a second slower than the XFGs. Kept pace with at least Tommy at the start. The being out position at the start really hampered my charge. We fell down to 5th, I think.
Yeah, in fact, young Tommy B did overfuel his car. Chungus, we think, had a technical on the beginning of the safety car period. And yeah, you were just there to pick up the pieces. You had the pace throughout the race. Probably, I've got to say, you probably as good a pace in that XRG as you probably could have managed. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, this car is a handful, but I mean, throughout the event, everyone was like, oh, the XFG is overpowered. So I gave the XRG a go just to show that, I mean, here in Layout Racing League, we are going to make the cars as even as we can. And boy, it did give us a good battle at the end.
It certainly did. It was great for us to watch, especially that drag race to the line. 0.03 of a second separating you from young Tommy B. You've got a feel for him, though. You were perfectly placed when the safety car was called to just duck into the pit lane, and young Tommy B had just passed the pit entry. So that was kind of gutting for him. And yeah, it was a race that could have been for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I guess his pace was really good as well. I mean, he could have taken the win, but the timing was quite unfortunate. I'm not sure if it got held up by some traffic or...
It was held up by the safety car. While you guys were tearing round, he was trying to, it was just bad timing of the safety car, I think, has cost YTB the race. And I think Chungus somehow caused himself to drop down. So congratulations, Sean. Really good on your debut, actually, in LRL, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time I've taken the step back from the stewarding and the admin stuff. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll have good battles, and hopefully we'll have as much of a grid as this, because I think it was really nice to watch on your end.
It was very nice, yes. Anyway, thank you very much. Hope to see you in the commentary box a few more times this season with some good results.
Thank you.
Cheers, Sean. And let's have a quick word with Kooky, number 78. Hello, you finished in P20 in the end for Esport. How did your race go? Tell us about it.
Well, my race was pretty decent. I had some unlucky contacts, but I tried to push through in the end. I my pace, and every race is a new experience. I didn't want to lose this bad, but stuff happens.
Stuff does happen. A lot of stuff happened in that race.
Indeed.
Yeah. How are you looking forward to the next round as we head into to Scour's racetrack at West Hill in the LX4? Is that something that you might feel a bit more comfortable in?
It is. I had another peak like this in Scour's racetrack last season, and I'm looking forward to that. Just want to refresh my memory for the past few weeks. I'm going to be practicing that a lot.
Great. And to anybody watching the LRL for the first time and thinking about joining, what's your highlight of the race and why should people get involved in this series?
Well, for me, it was my battles with Gintas and KIG. We didn't really, our paces may or may not have been close, but we still had some good battles despite the pace. And I'm sure the people in the back had some good battles for themselves too.
Yeah, there were battles up and down the field, and you were stuck right in there. P20 in the end today, and yeah, we hope to see you back in the commentary box with some good results in future. Thank you very much.
Hopefully, thank you.
Cheers. Have a good one. So, Eoin, let's round out today. Let's have a bit of a quick chat about what happened here. I think we are in for a good one, a good season of racing in the LRL, sanctioned by New Dimension Racing. What do you think of round one?
Yeah, that was my first experience watching a Layout Racing League event, and certainly worth the attention. Really enjoyed seeing the drivers battle it out on a custom built circuit and the dual class system. We saw some drivers manage to exploit their favorite car the way they wanted it to, and others may have struggled, particularly with those sausage curbs. But I had a fantastic time, and I congratulate Sean on a wonderful victory, and it should bode very well for the next few rounds.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eoin. I echo your sentiments. Congratulations to Sean. Unfortunate for Chungus and YTB. They definitely had the pace today, but Sean was, he did everything right. And the luck of the draw at the end of the day sometimes is all you need. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for Layout Racing League 2021 Round 1 from Broker Hill in Live for Speed. We hope you enjoyed it. I've been Peter Butcher. He's been Eoin Harmon. You've been watching Sim Broadcasts. We hope to see you at the next one. Good night.
Farewell.